What if I told you that inside a church in Jerusalem lies a tomb that changed the course of human history? A single tomb that sparked the rise of the enormous global faith, transforming the ancient world and shaping modern civilization. Right behind me is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Actually, just one of the doors, which is blocked by the construction. Anyway, this was a location where Jesus was crucified and he died, and as the Christian tradition believes, he resurrected on the third day. This is the most pivotal point of the Christianity and is the holiest place on earth, and it is why Jerusalem is Jerusalem today. This ancient church holds secrets that shaped our world, fought over by crusaders, torched by conquerors, and split among 6 rival Christian factions. In 2016, scientists pried open its tomb for the first time in centuries, and discoveries astonished scholars worldwide. Today, we're diving into the sacred mystery where an empty tomb still brings in millions searching for answers. Our story begins on Friday in April, around 30 CE. Jerusalem was under Roman occupation, crowded with pilgrims celebrating Passover. On a small hill called Golgotha, just outside the city walls, a Jewish teacher named Jesus of Nazareth was executed by crucifixion alongside 2 other criminals. As evening approached, a wealthy member of the Jewish council named Joseph of Arimathea requested permission to take Jesus' body. This was unusual. Roman typically left crucified bodies on display as warning. However, Jewish customs demanded burial before sundown, especially before holidays. An exception was sometimes granted. Remarkably, in 1968, archaeologists in Jerusalem uncovered the skeletal remains of a crucified man, with an iron nail still lodged in his heel bone, offering rare archaeological proof of Roman crucifixion practices during Jesus' lifetime. But what became of the actual tomb? Jerusalem endured chaos and conflict nearly 300 years after Jesus' death. In 70 CE, the Romans destroyed the city following a Jewish revolt. Then in 130 CE, Emperor Hadrian rebuilt Jerusalem as a Roman colony, renaming it as Aelia Capitolina. Around 135 CE, he constructed a massive temple dedicated to Venus directly over the Golgotha and the tomb, strategically attempting to suppress Christian worship. Ironically, Hadrian's temple inadvertently preserved the tomb's precise location. Beneath the hidden foundations, the tomb remained untouched for nearly 2 centuries. In 312 CE, Roman Emperor Constantine converted to Christianity after a vision on a battlefield, transforming it from a persecuted faith into the empire's official religion. 14 years later, Constantine's mother Helena traveled to Jerusalem to recover Christianity's lost holy sites, establishing a pilgrimage tradition lasting centuries. Workers demolished Hadrian's temple under Helena's guidance, uncovering the tomb venerated secretly by the local Christians. Constantine ordered a grand church built around it, the first church of the Holy Sepulchre. Architects enclosed the tomb and Golgotha under one roof by cutting away surrounding bedrock, encasing the tomb in a marble top with a column canopy, the first Edicule. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre has endured cycles of destruction and rebirth, reflecting Jerusalem's turbulent history. Persian invaders burned it in 1614, looting treasures, including the True Cross. In 1638, Muslim Caliph Omar intentionally prayed outside, reserving the church for Christian worship. The worst devastation occurred in 1009 when the Fatim Caliph al-Hakim severely damaged the structure. Eastern Roman Emperor Constantine IX rebuilt key sections by 1048. Crusaders later expanded the church, enclosing Calvary beneath the dome. Crusader kings, including Baldwin IV, the Leper King, were crowned and buried here until a fire in 1808 erased these connections. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre is more than just one building. It's a living timeline of architecture, with each section reflecting the era it was built, creating a fascinating blend of styles and tradition. This structure reflects nearly 2 millennia of expansion, destruction, and rebuilding, from Constantine's 4th century Rotunda to Crusaders' addition and later Armenian, Coptic, and Ethiopian contributions. Right now I am standing on the roof of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. It goes deep down, and behind me over here is the dome right above the tomb of Jesus. So the church expands all the way, and it's built on several different layers. As you enter the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, you immediately encounter the Stone of the Anointing. According to the tradition, this is where Jesus' body was prepared for burial after his crucifixion. Up a short flight of stairs on the right when you enter the church is the Chapel of Golgotha, marking the rocky hill where Jesus was crucified. A glass section on the floor reveals a portion of the bedrock. Pilgrims can also see a spot traditionally identified as where the cross stood. At its core is the Rotunda built by Constantine, originally open air, allowing pilgrims direct access. Today is topped by a dome rebuilt in 1997. Standing 65 feet above Jesus' tomb. The central nave is a Romanesque masterpiece with large columns, rounded arches, and barrel vaults, symbolizing Crusader strength and permanence, enhanced by detailed carvings. Descending lower reveals the Chapel of St. Helena, featuring Crusader-built Gothic arches and vaulted ceilings. Simple and austere, the Armenian chapel features ancient graffiti, a 2nd century ship carving inscribed Domine Ivimus, Lord we come, possibly the earliest evidence of pilgrimage here. Beneath the main floor, far below street levels, there is an additional chapel referred to as the Chapel of the Invention of the Holy Cross, and it marks the location where Queen Helena discovered the true cross, the one Jesus was crucified on. Tradition says Jesus was imprisoned here before the crucifixion, with 2 carved holes reserved for restraints. On the roof sits a colorful Ethiopian monastery, reflecting distinctive Ethiopian Orthodox traditions. This distinctly designed arch once served as the western entrance. This behind me is actually called the Arch of the Virgin Mary, and it was the westernmost part of the Holy Sepulchre. It was the entrance to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. You can see the pillars right here, and it was closed during the Crusader time, so about 700 years ago. At the heart of the ornate Edicule, built in 1810 after a fire, preserving Crusader-era design and marking Jesus' tomb. Right behind me is the tomb of Jesus. It's where his body was buried. Today, visitors enter a small antechamber called the Chapel of the Angel, while tradition says that angel announced Jesus' resurrection. A low doorway leads into the cramped burial chamber, fitting just 3 or 4 people at a time. Inside, a marble slab covers what believers regard to be the exact burial spot of Jesus. Icons and hanging lamps oil fill the chamber with a golden glow. For millions of pilgrims, this tiny space symbolized the heart of their faith, where death was conquered and hope emerged. Jesus' tomb isn't alone. Archaeologists have discovered other 1st century tombs within the same area of Church of the Holy Sepulchre, including one traditionally linked to the Joseph of Arimathea, who provided Jesus' tomb. These discoveries reinforce the site's authenticity, confirming it as a Jewish burial ground for Jesus' time. The chamber's small dimensions match typical 1st century Jewish burial niches, supporting Gospel's account of a newly cut tomb. In 2016, restoration work allowed scientists unprecedented access. For 60 hours, they removed the marble covering for the first time in centuries. Remarkably, beneath the marble lay an original limestone burial bed consistent with the 1st century Jewish burial practices. Mortar samples from the tomb dated precisely to around 345 AD, confirming continuous veneration since Constantine's original church. Though absolute proof remains elusive, this archaeological continuity surprised even skeptical scholars. Church of the Holy Sepulchre is uniquely governed by an 1852 decree called the Status Quo, dividing control among 6 Christian denominations: the Greek Orthodox, the Roman Catholic, Armenian, Coptic, Ethiopian, and Syriac Orthodox. I'm standing outside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and right above me, right up there, is the immovable ladder. Church of the Holy Sepulchre is divided by different Christian groups, and they're not getting along. So the Sultan decreed the status quo in order to the churches to get along. And the ladder was left there for some reparation projects, but after the status quo, it was never moved because the churches all have to agree to make some changes. Each denomination carefully manages its sections. The Greek Orthodox oversee the central dome, the Armenian control several chapels, and the Franciscans represent the Catholic presence. This creates a complicated mosaic of territories and tradition. The stone, which was worn down by centuries, is at the center of a long-standing debate between the Christian denominations. The Greek Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic communities can't agree who it belongs to. To most visitors, it is just a step, but to the clergy, it represents the control and the tradition. They are fighting who has the right to clean it, who has the right to conduct ceremonies on it, or even claim it as their own. The debate is very heated. And while it might be trivial, it just reminded how human nature plays out even at the holiest places. Although disagreements often delay necessary repairs, this delicate arrangement have preserved church historical authenticity, highlighting the complexities and cooperation between these sacred shared spaces. Not everyone agrees that the Church of the Holy Sepulchre marks Jesus' tomb. In the 19th century, British General Charles Gordon proposed an alternative, the Garden Tomb, located outside Damascus Gate. Its peaceful garden and nearby skull-shaped rock made it popular among Protestant visitors. I'm standing right outside the Garden Tomb. It is a Iron Age tomb, so about 1,000 years before Christ, and it was buried at the time of Christ. Some people believe that this was the location of Jesus, but unfortunately it's not. Most likely location was in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So this is just one of the locations. It looks nice. It has a garden and there's a tomb, but there is the dating of the tomb is wrong time period. So therefore, this is definitely not the tomb of Jesus. Archaeological research, however, strongly favors the Holy Sepulchre, placing it accurately outside Jerusalem's first century walls, matching Gospels accounts. For millions, the power of this place transcends historical debates. It represents something eternal. Perhaps the tomb's greatest miracle is its survival through centuries of crusades, conflicts, fires, and earthquakes. Here in Jerusalem, where history, archaeology, and faith intersect, the story of the tomb continues, inviting each visitor to become part of its ongoing narrative. But what do you think? Is this an authentic tomb of Jesus? Share your thoughts below, hit like if you enjoyed the historical journey, and subscribe for more deep dives into mysteries of our past. Keep digging.